Hello lovely people, thank you for watching this video. My name is Roel, I am a health and nutrition coach and I create these videos to help you to be as healthy as you can be and avoid problems with regards to your health. Obviously I can't sort you out with other problems, and today I want to talk about insulin resistance and how you can recognize that you might be insulin resistant, because it's very common. A lot of people have insulin resistance, but they don't realize it. It's very undiagnosed, and it is important to be aware of it because you can easily reverse insulin resistance once you know that you have it, and then you will save yourself a lot of problems, because insulin resistance will lead to type 2 diabetes, and that is something that you definitely want to avoid. It's a serious condition with very serious complications. So today I want to talk to you about 10 warning signs that may indicate that you could be insulin resistant, and it could be that these warning signs are an indication of something else. It doesn't have to be insulin resistance, but if you recognize one or more of these, then you might want to explore if you are insulin resistant and then take appropriate action to get the blood glucose levels down and avoid type 2 diabetes. A lot of people think that it only relates to people who are diabetic, but it doesn't. It relates to a lot of people walking around completely unaware of it, but they are at a higher risk now of getting type 2 diabetes. So if you can avoid that, why wouldn't you? Now, insulin resistance is at the heart of something called metabolic syndrome, and not everybody's heard of that, but metabolic syndrome is basically a collection of conditions that indicate that you are at a much higher risk of cardiovascular disease and type 2 or type 2 diabetes. And there are 5 sort of markers for metabolic syndrome. The first one is obesity. The second one is high blood pressure. The third one is, they're in no particular order by the way, high blood triglycerides, so that's lipids or fat in your blood, low HDL cholesterol, and insulin resistance. And so insulin resistance is at the heart of this metabolic syndrome, because it can actually be the root cause of any of these other markers. So it's really useful if you can tackle the insulin resistance, which you can. So the first warning sign would be if you have a lot of fat around your abdomen, because if you have high levels of insulin, that will promote fat storage, and in particular fat storage around your tummy. So if you have overweight and a lot of that is around your tummy, then that could be an indication that you're insulin resistant. And you may not know what it means to be insulin resistant. What it means is that the cells in your body are not listening to the hormone insulin that will prompt them to open up and take glucose out of your blood. So what that means then is that you will have high blood glucose levels and therefore high insulin levels, because your body will produce insulin to get rid of that glucose out of the blood, so your cells can take it in and use it to for metabolic processes, including creating energy. So if you're insulin resistant, then your cells are not listening to the insulin and they're not opening up, and now you end up with a lot of glucose and the resulting insulin in your bloodstream, and that is what's causing the problems. So abdominal fat is number 1, and what is interesting to look at is your waist to height ratio. So you want to measure your waist, and then you want to calculate your waist divided by your height, and you don't want that really to be more than 0.53. I just choose half to make it easy to remember, but technically I think it's 0.53. So measure your height, measure your waist, and then divide your waist by your height, and that should be under half. And if it isn't, then that could be an indication that you have a lot of abdominal fat. Number 2, high blood pressure. If you have high levels of glucose and insulin in your bloodstream, then that can cause a little bit of kidney scarring, and that can then result in fluid retention. You can have the reaction to damaged blood vessels can be the clogging up of your arteries, basically causing can cause high blood pressure as well. So if you have high blood pressure, I believe that in over 50% of the cases of high blood pressure, this is caused by higher than normal blood glucose levels. So by reducing your blood glucose levels, you will normally see the blood pressure coming down as well. Number 3 would be hormonal imbalance. Not every hormonal imbalance is caused by high blood glucose, but many of them are. And for example, PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome in women, erectile dysfunction in men, acne, excessive hair growth, and irregular menstrual cycle. These can all be caused by the higher than normal blood glucose and insulin. So if you have any of those, that could also be caused by insulin resistance. Number 4, swollen ankles, because higher blood glucose levels can cause circulatory issues, and that can cause the accumulation of fluid, in particular in the lower legs. So swollen ankles could be an indicator too. Number 5 would be if you have sugar cravings just after you've had a meal. There can be other reasons for that as well, and it is quite common to crave something sugary after a meal, and some of that is just linked to the fact that it's custom sometimes to have a sweet after a meal, and so it could be psychological rather than physiological. But it can also be caused by these unbalanced blood glucose levels. If you have these peaks and troughs in your blood glucose levels, then you can get these cravings when you have the drop in the blood glucose levels. Number 6 is frequent urination. Your kidneys will work harder when you have high glucose and insulin, and therefore you'll want to be going to the toilet more, so that can also be an indicator. Number 7 is dark, dry skin patches, and this is also caused by damage of the tiny little blood vessels under the skin, and so it's just slightly darker skin. It can feel a little bit velvety, and it can appear in many places on the body. Number 8 is also skin related. It's these little skin tags that you can get. Often you see them in the neck or in armpits or in the groin, and these can be caused by high levels of insulin. Insulin actually acts as a growth accelerator, and that can cause these skin tags. So you getting rid of these skin tags doesn't get rid of the problem, because the cause is not taken away when you take the skin tags away. It is the high blood glucose and insulin that causes it. So that's what you need to tackle, and then the skin tags will be dealt with. Then the last two, number 9 and 10, they're not obvious ones, and you would only know about it if you had a blood test with the GP or you did a private blood test. And these are high triglycerides in the blood. So triglycerides are fats, lipids in your blood. And a lot of people think that they're caused by eating fat, but it's not as simple as that. And more often it's caused by excess intake of refined carbohydrates and sugars, not intake of fat, in particularly not the healthy fats. They don't cause high triglycerides in the blood. It can be very lifestyle related, not just even the diet, but also lack of physical activity. So if you have high level of triglycerides in the blood, then that is also can be an indicator that you have insulin resistance. And number 10 is low HDL cholesterol levels. And again, you would not know about it. You have to have a blood test to know about that. And what's actually even more interesting is the ratio between triglycerides and the HDL. Now, this all gets a little bit technical, and if you want to know more about that, then contact me, but I won't bore most of the viewers of this video with that. Happy to talk to you about that. And have a think if you recognize any of these warning signs of insulin resistance, and if you feel that you might suffer from that, then feel free to contact me and I can let you know how to reverse that. And I will leave a link in the comments where you can book a free discovery call where I can give you some ideas about that, how to tackle that. Let me know if you have any other questions, or if you have any topics that you would like me to cover in these videos. And of course, in these videos, I'd like to encourage you to think about your health goal for the upcoming week. It is really, really helpful if you set yourself one little goal once a week around your health, because that way you will always stay on top of your health and you will always get results. Even if they're only small results, they will all add up to a bigger result. So don't postpone setting yourself a health goal. If you have things going on, we all have things going on, some people more than others, but always set yourself one little thing that you can do this week that will help you to be a healthier you. And you can adjust it to what's going on in your life. You can make it as easy as you like, but at least do something, because then you're in action mode and good things will happen when you're in action mode. So my goal this week is to remember to do some particular strengthening exercises that I need to do for an old injury that I had in my left leg, which is by and large healed, but I still need to make sure that I do these exercises to strengthen my ankle, and I just keep forget to do them. I do go to the gym and I have no resistance against doing that. I'm very happy to do it, but I just forget to do these flipping exercises. So that is going to be my goal this week, to do that. Let me know what yours is so we can inspire each other, or if you need any help with setting your goal. If you can't even identify your goal, then let me know. I also do workshops, free workshops on goal setting. If you're interested in one of those, reach out. And that's it from me today. I hope you find it interesting. Good luck with your goals this week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week.